we are assembling the polar bear pop-up card. So I have already put my panels on my base, and now we're going to prep the base. And the first score line here folds down to the top of the base, and then we're going to fold the next score line up. And this creates a 1/4 inch gap that we're going to glue to our base. We have to fold these tabs down. So we do a mountain, a valley, a mountain. Do that to all 4 pieces. Okay, and now this step is very important to the structure of the card. You glue this 1/4 inch space that we just created with the folding to the inside here of our base piece. So you just want to hold this a few seconds longer because we've got a little bit of bulk, so you just want to make sure it stays down. Okay, so you can see here we've got, I guess we'd call these the platforms here in the base. And when we put the card together, you can see that where those tabs fold down, that creates the center of your card. Okay, so we're going to set this aside and let that dry. And I've already completed one of the base pieces here, but I'm going to now do the other. This piece is where having some kind of fine-tipped glue bottle will really come in handy, so that you can just throw some dots of glue on this. There is just a very slight border. My glue kind of smooched out a little. So you just want to be careful not to use too much, but you need enough to make it stick. Okay. My first one, I didn't have quite enough glue on my big snowflake. This one I might have put too much. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, now we'll set that aside. We'll go ahead and put our candy cane together. I didn't clean out this one last little piece. There we go. So I'm just going to kind of go around the edge very lightly. I don't want too much glue, and then I'm going to put glue on the bigger stripes. There we are. Try to clean up some of that glue there in the centers. There. Okay. So now we can start assembling our polar bear. Now I have already glued, this is doubled. You want to double your center, and you want to use a sturdy cardstock when you're putting this together, because this is 7 inches tall. You want to make sure, and see, by drying it under my mat, you just want to dry it under something heavy. I don't have the curve in it. So you do want to put this base piece together. I just did it just a few minutes ago, right before I started this. So it's not like it has to dry overnight or anything, but you do want to give it some time. Now, in case there is this piece here that fits on it here, and that's so that if you want to use a different color card for your base, you can, and you still have this piece for your snow. I don't know, for me, sometimes these, I always have lots of white and black and vanilla, but sometimes if you're running low and you need it for the main pieces, you can do that. Hang on, give me a minute just to look here, because I think I put the centers of my ears. I think these are the centers to my ears. I think I had put these with a different project. And so I'm just going to use my dauber, which I already have blue on, a light blue. I'm going to go around the edges of these just a little. So you want to make sure before you put his head on here that you put the centers of his ears in. So we're just going to put these right on. Put them on the wrong spot. Just lift those up. I hope that you're not working as I do, because you want to put these ears on his body, not that piece. Darn it. And that's not going to matter because it's going to be covered up by this other piece. So again, you do have to put these on before you put the head on, but just make sure you put them on the right piece. And now this goes here to cover up that bad mistake. See, nobody will even know that I made it, except for you. My piece is starting to curl a little bit with the moisture from the glue of these pieces. So you may want to assemble this piece and then dry it under some weight for a few minutes before you put it into your card. And his head just goes right here. I had already put the backing for his eyes. It's just a black strip that goes behind there. And then his snout. his nose. Oops, wrong side. Oh, I am just goofing up everything today. The other thing I forgot to do was I forgot to put on the top of this iceberg. So luckily this has not dried too much yet. Darn, darn, darn. I just need to lift it there, that far. Oh, I'm gonna have to add all kinds of captions to this one, but the best of us make mistakes. I'm not saying that I'm the best, not hardly. But we all are human, and I didn't take a look at my table before I started just gluing. I'm always so anxious just to get things going. So now I'm just gonna put some glue in here. Make sure I put some under that tab that ripped up. Trim that off so it doesn't make a mess. Sorry. Let me clean that up some. There we go. So I'm applying a little extra pressure. Maybe get my bone folder because I want to straighten out this piece that curled a little bit. So I just want to give it some extra pressure to help flatten that. There we go. And that will be okay because his feet will cover that up. Okay. So I'm going to put his little foot there and his other little foot there. Okay. So that wasn't too bad. Now, if it had been very much longer, I would not have been able to get that piece up and salvage it. There we go. Now he's going to be holding his candy cane. So gonna need a little bit more blue around this. It's blending right into that candy cane. That's the one thing when you have all similar colors. You have to be mindful. You want to make sure you ink your edges so that I'm not going to put this on just yet because I think I want to pop it with a foam dot, and so I don't want it on. Before I do that. He does have his little scarf here. There's just some extra bulk, so I want to hold that a few seconds. Put just a little more glue. Want enough to hold it, but not to ooze all over the whole project. There we go. Okay, so he is in the center, so he goes here at the slot that is at the fold. And we put one of these here and the other one in the back. Okay. And we open this up, and I'm going to lay these down in this order because that's how I have to put those back in. And I'm going to start with this one. And what you want to do is slide it through the slit on the bottom, push it down flush, turn your card over. I know it's a little bit hard to see because you just want to fold this right up. We're going to glue that down in place. Okay. So it inserts in through the top of the top platform piece and goes through to the bottom platform. Glues down. Okay. Then we're going to come over here to the other side. Now we're working with this backwards because this is the front. Okay, so you slide it through the slat on the top and then right through to the one on the bottom. Turn your card over. Fold your flap up. Glue this in place. So you can see these are gluing to the bottom of this platform. Now turn it back over. Now this one I had mentioned before is the center, so it does not have a tab. You slide it You need to slide it down till it's flush, and if it goes over your fold line, which mine has done, just trim it, okay? So I'm just going to trim this little piece off. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to glue these tabs, top and bottom, just to this center piece. I'm only applying glue to the center piece, and we're only gluing these tabs of the platform to it, okay? You want to watch your glue so it doesn't get on any other part of this base, and you'll see here that now when I push this up, the top and bottom of the platform rise with it, which is different than what happens here on the other side. So if you notice that you've put this together and this platform piece isn't rising, it's because you haven't glued it to the center piece. Okay. Now to finish the card off, I'm going to fold this tab up and leave this one down flat. We're going to glue these tabs together face to face. Okay. So now I am only putting glue on the blue tab. Then I'm gluing them to the tabs on the opposite side. And now you see when I open it up, I have my tabs glued together here in the center. I have the front and the back piece glued to the bottom, and the center piece is glued to these tabs. And so now when it opens and closes, that makes it function. Now I'm going to just close it up. And grab a piece of foam tape. You do have to be careful with the foam tape on these pop-up cards because you already have some bulk just from the pieces, and you don't want any added bulk here in this section because then it's not going to be closing very well. But for this guy, I'm going to make sure that I get the end of my candy cane so it's going down in there, because I don't want that to cause a problem. I'm just not sure where this hand should be. And there we go. There is our polar bear pop-up. Open and close. Thank you so much for joining me.